Well, howdy there, partner. Thank you so much for joining me for another reading on Unmasked Universe. My name is Storm, and I would like to do a collective reading. Today's reading is going to be a past life reading. So buckle up and start doing your breathing so we can get into it. A very interesting reading for you today. So today is a pick a card reading. That means that once you get your energy settled, maybe do some deep breathing, call upon your spirit team or the angels or your higher self, get centered, relaxed. Then you're going to pick a pile of cards here. Now, it's important that you either tap into your intuition, ask for guidance, take these deep breaths, and pick by the stone that is on here or pick by the pile. Now, using your intuition is going to allow you to, of course, tap into the messages that are appropriate for you. However, if it does not resonate at all for you, then feel free to skip ahead to or backwards to the pile that you feel most drawn to afterwards. So you may find a message in that instead. Sometimes, if our intuition is not trained or we're unsettled in our energy, then we may pick the wrong pile. And if there is no message in here for you at all today, then maybe next time. So use your discernment, take what's for you, drop anything that does not apply to your life or that does not feel as though it's resonating in any capacity. Tune into your body, allow your body to confirm to you in the many ways that it does. Shivers are one of them. And yeah, hopefully, this resonates with you and it helps you along your path. So we've got pile one, pile two, and pile three. And I apologize for the blurriness ahead of time down here. It is blurry. I don't have the appropriate setup, so my camera has to be quite high up. So the reading down here may appear blurry as I go along, so you may just want to do the listening. But I will show you the cards up here where you can see it and it's in focus, okay? So for pile one, we have the Philosopher's Stone, okay? Pile two, we have the orange quartz crystal from Congo. And for pile three, we have green calcite, a green calcite point. So if you're drawn to a particular crystal, I will pause the video for a moment. You can close your eyes, take your deep breaths and get centered, and come back to the piles once you are ready. Okay, pile one, welcome into your reading. For those of you who have chose the Philosopher's Stone or this pile, pile one, then this is your reading. So, that right there. Hope you're having a great day today. All right, so my first question to Spirit was, what is negatively affecting you now in this current life that stems from your past life? And the first card that we got was Wars and Battles. I'll just show you the card. All right, I've got to get used to where it's at. So Wars and Battles. I'll just put it upside down for you. And the second card that we got was Wisdom. So immediately what I'm getting from these two cards is there are, well, I guess you and this collective in pile one, your energy is telling me that you're still holding on to a past pattern from your previous life where you engaged in specific energies. Well, it is an energy that has been driving you to continue to fight. So perhaps you're looking for justice in your life right now in some capacity. You're trying to fight for what is rightfully yours or what you feel is fair or just. And this is actually a pattern that is going back to a very long time. It could be in your past life, it could be in several lives before that, it could be in many past lives. However, this energy of battling, of fighting, of needing to prove yourself and be right is coming up for healing right now. And sometimes what it's asking is that we examine where this is coming from. So today we're getting an indication of past life traumas that have not been healed. So they've been carried over into this life. And so this is a pattern that's coming up for you right now, pile one, that is asking you to observe, is the juice worth the squeeze, as another tarot reader will put it. Is the battle or the constant fighting, the energy that you're exuding or putting into it, the mental thought, the anxiety or the stress or whatever emotions that are negatively impacting you because of these battles, these fights, um, are they worth it in the end? So potentially you could be in a situation where you're battling, let's say, a divorce, right? And your divorce has been going on for a long time. For some of you, these divorces can go on for, 10 years if you allow it. So let's just say you're in the middle of a divorce and, the whole situation between you and your ex-partner is over. However, um, there are still details or assets or things that you're looking to work out. And it may be that it's affecting you financially. It may be that it's affecting you emotionally. It may be that it is affecting you mentally. And it's kind of the last straw before you get to elevate yourself, evolve, and move forward with your life. So in this context, if it were a divorce, then is it worth the continuous battle, or is it better for you at this point to just drop it and move forward? If it is a particular energy that you're dealing with within yourself, then is it worth the mental conflict? Because from what I'm seeing in these two cards, this energy is about not just recognizing the pattern, whether it is with another person or within yourself, but it's about having the wisdom to say no and to empower yourself, which is a part of your own evolution. So, pile one, what I'm getting is that part of your path is to actually evolve past this pattern. This is a pattern that you are meant to recognize within yourself. Who is it that you are struggling with or having this back and forth with that is actually taking your time or your energy or your finances or anything of that nature away from you, where you could be instead putting that towards growing something or evolving or doing better in your life or being happier, whatever that's affecting in your life, whoever it may be with, whether it's with yourself or another person or a situation. You're being asked to really look at the pattern itself and to recognize that it's actually more empowering for you at this point to let go and to surrender it. And so there may be some things that, let's just go back to the divorce. There may be some things that you need to work out, but you're being asked to look at the higher guidance and look into your own insides Turn inwards. Sorry, that's the word that was trying to come out. Turn inwards to your own intuition on this and what is worth fighting for and what's not. What can you drop and what is actually worth um, waging war, right? Because that's essentially what it is. You're waging war. You're still engaging in this energy of back and forth. You're still engaging in needing to prove yourself, needing to be right. And from what I'm getting for those of you in pile one, this comes from a wounded aspect of you in childhood, potentially where you were probably never heard or seen. You were the underdog, or perhaps you were the scapegoat or the black sheep of the family. And so what you had to say held no value in that family system. Others of you, it could have been a situation in life, maybe a period of your life where this developed later on. But for the majority of people, this has shown up in childhood and in family dynamics some point in your early development. And that is why it's been carried through from a past life. That is why it's coming up for healing now. In this lifetime, you're actually meant to convert that into wisdom and to step into your own power by saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to give any more energy or time to this battle, to these kinds of battles and these kinds of situations any longer, this energy any longer. And instead, I'm going to find peace in my life, balance in my life. And by letting go of these things, you're bringing wisdom in, you're creating wisdom actually for yourself because you're taking your awareness, your experience, and your knowledge, and you're combining them together, which creates wisdom. And so, in doing so, it gives you the opportunity to finally heal this pattern so you're not carrying it through into the next life or your next relationship. And you're not only doing that, but you're surrendering all of the baggage that comes with it, which is a lot of stress, which you may not even be aware of how much stress this is causing you and how much attention is being taken away from the good things in life that could be happening to you. All right, so my next question was, what's blocking you from releasing the past? And what we have is friction. So that makes total sense, okay, because this is an energy of battle, of war, right? War of the wills, and proving yourself and needing, this having this feeling of needing to prove yourself. The only person that you need to prove yourself to is you. And the only person you should be in competition with is you. So you're finding yourself in a situation here where you're still in competition with somebody, and the universe, your guides, your spirit team, they're all asking you to look at this friction and see, is it worth it? Is it worth your investment? Or is there something better coming for you if you are able to work through this and let go of all of the dramas and the friction and anything that's causing you friction? That's the biggest thing. Anything that is causing you mental, emotional, or physical strain, even financial strain, you're being asked to really examine that and ask yourself the question with each thing or person, is it worth it? I mean, if it's, you're going to get a settlement in court with somebody for $100,000 or something, of a substantial marker, then okay. But if it's all of the little details in between going back and forth, it's a power game, it's power dynamics. And so this causes friction between you and that person or within yourself in your own mind. You're going back and forth instead of being set on one thing and releasing the past, right? Or releasing whatever it is that's causing you stress and anxiety at this time in your mind, keeping you up in your mind, right? Because when I see this friction card, I really think of anxiety. I really think of being stuck in the mind doing mental acrobatics and not being able to ground yourself properly. So Another thing would be to ground yourself, to get yourself out of your head. And you can do that by, of course, there's many different things actually grounding your energy, breath work, meditating, just taking a bath, taking a walk in nature, doing things that connect you to the earth and take you out of that space. Some exercise works for me actually really well. But this friction is a result of these power dynamics going on. And so um, I'm getting the feeling as though in your past life where this came up before, that you had the wisdom, you had the knowledge, you were so close to closing off this chapter, but you didn't apply it. Maybe you didn't know how. Maybe there were circumstances where you felt it was impossible to do so, but you weren't able to fully let go and to heal this pattern. So you did bring it into this life where you've probably experienced a lot of friction with people, possibly in your family and in relationships and in school or at jobs or with friends. You have possibly experienced a lot of friction, and you're being told that you don't need to actually take this with you. You can let it go by taking the right steps to heal it and using your wisdom to know that it's not worth your investment in this life any longer. You have a better life to live going forward. And so it's time to let go of all of the things. Sometimes you'd be surprised. Like we might just think, you know, that some of these things are really important. And that's because we feel that it's just. We feel that it's for the highest good of all. But you're being asked to really look at, is it? Is it for your highest good? And if it's not for your highest good and it's taking from you instead, and you're being depleted in any capacity, then it is not for your highest good. It's actually negatively impacting you, and it could be negatively impacting your health as well. So, the next question that I asked was, what step can you take, pile one, to heal this pattern? And what we got was four. And now this totally makes sense to me because really when you're working from this energy is going to be affecting your lower chakras because that's where your childhood wounding sits for the most part. So, oh, I have that backwards. I'm just going to look at the card for a little while. But this energy of your core, if you want to actually release this pattern, this really speaks to me about the energy of your solar plexus chakra and your sacral chakra and your roots. So, the reason why we would be fighting and squabbling and having these power dynamics of control, trying to win at all costs sometimes, is that we may have some trauma around our root chakra where we don't feel safe unless we are engaged in such dynamics. So, for those of you who have experienced any codependency, so those who are codependent, they have grown up in highly toxic family systems that were very disorganized, disruptive, unsafe. There was no ability to bring peace into your life or feel safe or feel or be comforted or receive love or affection or many things, right? So there may be some core wounds around these types of things. So for people who are suffering from codependency, then this need to say control the situation or need to express your viewpoint or keep battling or engaging in this energy really comes from these wounds of not feeling like you're enough just as you are. And that doesn't just touch on that root chakra, it touches on your solar plexus as well as your sacral chakra, your worthiness, your confidence, your um, as an adult, you have a voice and you're learning to assert that voice right now. However, as a child, you didn't have that and you didn't have the protection that you needed from your family. You didn't have the capacity um, to develop that self-worth, right? And this is really talking about having the wisdom to know that letting go of all of these battles, these wars, the control, the dynamics between you two or between the situation or within yourself, to let go and to trust that when you do, you heal that pattern, it's actually going to give you more confidence. It's actually going to allow you to step into that power that you have. It's going to allow your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plexus chakra to finally attain a level of healing that you've been looking for. And you don't need to assert yourself in a negative way in order to achieve that. In fact, it's quite the opposite. You're being asked to let it go so that you can move into that strength, that power, and essentially align yourself. So it's not, it's going to look like you are losing something by giving that up, but you're not going to lose anything. You're actually being guided to trust that when you let go of that, something better is coming for you. Something better is going to evolve from that healing of your core, right? And so you may want to actually do some affirmations once you've done your examining as to what the root cause is in childhood and how that's showing up in your life right now and with who, with another person, with a situation, or with yourself. And do some affirmation work specifically geared towards those three lower chakras, and that will help you as well. And you can gauge based on what comes through on those chakras for affirmations. YouTube has a wonderful selection of those that you can look at, but you can base what kind of information is coming onto those videos about each of those chakras and transfer it over to your own um, root wounding and lower chakra wounding from childhood so that you can really specify and understand the deeper core wounds that you're dealing with. Okay. All right. So, my next question is, how can you bring balance to this past life pattern once you've taken the step to heal this pattern? Once you've actually trusted yourself to let it go and to do some of the healing work that's required in order to heal those wounds, then how can you bring balance to this life pattern? And the card that came out was Divine Feminine, and this is an earth energy. Really beautiful card. And now, what this is saying to me, this is speaking to me in the way that um, really tapping into your divine feminine is about the nurturing and the healing and the having the wisdom to understand what this is telling you, having the wisdom to know when enough is enough and to let it go. Stepping into divine feminine means that you are connected to your intuition, to your body, to balance, to nurturing, to the earth, right? This is all the energy of divine feminine. And divine feminine's wisdom says enough is enough. And she's guiding you. She's essentially guiding you to find balance in your life, which means to go inwards with your intuition and your emotions because, of course, divine feminine is not afraid of accessing those emotions. And even if you're a man, we all have divine feminine within us and divine masculine within us. And we need to bring those into balance. It's very important to recognize that we are half and half of each. And so this is really just speaking to the energy of like using your tapping into your emotions and tapping into your intuition and really evaluating on all levels whether or not these energies are worth validating any longer, even within yourself. So, even if this is between you and another person, but you're still in the competition, you still feel you need to prove yourself or control something or come out on top. This energy here is bringing balance into your life by tapping into the feminine energy rather than this very masculine Mars type war energy, right? And that's what it is. And there's a place and a time for certain energies like this, but it is not supposed to be drawn out. And especially if you've brought a close to a cycle or a chapter or, pardon me, a relationship in your life, then it is certainly time to drop all of your weapons and move into the wisdom of this energy. And this energy, by tapping into these things and going inwards and looking at how this will positively affect your life, trusting that um, taking this step is going to shift you into the right direction and allowing this energy, this feminine energy, to really wash over you. It's the same energy while you're in meditation. That's the same kind of feminine, balanced energy that comes in, and it's soothing, right? And so you can bring balance to this, pardon me, to this pattern by doing this work and then allowing yourself time to recover, allowing yourself time to nurture yourself. Maybe it's your health, maybe it is your finances, right? Um, to repair. This is taking time to slow down and to really put focus on you and what really matters to you. And if this is an old situation, person, or thought pattern within yourself, then it's time to lay it to rest and move into this softer energy right now. And if you do, then some positive changes are going to come into your life. So, my next question was if you follow the advice and the guidance that you've been provided today, what positive changes can you expect? And the first one was windfall. Are these coming in upside down for you? Oops, that's me. I I hope that's just me. Hopefully you can see it properly. Oh no, I'm having a dyslexic moment. I think that's it. Windfall. So that's a pretty good card. Okay. And then the second one is spiritual growth. Beautiful. Gotta adjust it here. Now, those are great opportunities. These are great changes coming into your life. If you take the steps and you let go of everything that is not necessary when it comes to this energy, and you allow this pattern to die, and you consciously choose to step out of this pattern and no longer give this pattern, not just with one particular person or situation, but you choose you over battles and war, and you bring peace and balance into your life, then you're going to have a some type of windfall come into your life as well as spiritual growth because of course this is a lesson, right? This is a lesson you've been carrying for a long time and it has affected you on a core level. It has affected your development in this life, and it's brought this lesson forward to you time and time and time again, but you just may not have seen it, right? You may not have recognized what it was. And this is it. This is what's being brought forward so that it can heal finally and be put to rest. And this windfall can come in many different types of ways. It can come financially. You could have a financial windfall. So you could be opening the doors to abundance in many different ways, shapes, or forms. It doesn't even just have to be financially. It could be emotionally. It could be spiritually. It could be that you finally have the peace that you have been seeking for in your whole existence on this planet in this lifetime, which would be monumental. It could be a windfall of opportunities or better health, or, it could be anything, but you are guaranteed by learning this lesson and doing the inner work to release it and noticing when you start to engage in that pattern again, then you're going to be rewarded for your efforts. And part of that is, of course, spiritual growth, because when you integrate a lesson, you're never going to have to carry that forward into your next life. It's something that your soul has evolved from, learned from, and grown from. And when you integrate specific aspects of your soul's development blueprint or learning into your current existence, it actually creates a stronger energetic field, and it creates a more vibrant, healing energy to yourself. So it allows you to free up space, not only psychologically and emotionally within yourself, but on a physical and energetic level as well, which does help with the body healing. It does help with protecting your body from lower energies or from spiritual energies that are working on a lower vibrational plane. It does help with a lot of things, and it gives you access to more opportunities and doorways. So these two together, that's what this message is really confirming for me at this time. Have a drink of water. Okay, so I'm going to get some angel cards. Spirit, do you have any further guidance that you'd like to provide for pile one on this matter? Ah, new beginnings. That makes sense. Yeah, so really it's just affirming what I've just talked about, letting go of this pattern, this energy, this dynamic, the need to control, the need to be right, letting go of all of these things. This is impeding you from your new beginning right now. You are at the precipice of stepping over a threshold, but it is requiring you to let go of this pattern, this dynamic, and this energy within yourself and with others too. So you're ready. There's just this little bit of work to clean up here, this little bit of stuff that you need to still clean up. You're ready to step into your new beginning, is what they're saying. And this card is confirming just that for you, that so long as, you're attending to this little bit of work here that still needs to be cleaned up, you're going to step over the threshold instead of constantly getting to the threshold and being pushed back. Because that's what I'm really getting from this energy. There's a push pull dynamic with the friction. And so that's telling me that you get up to the threshold and then you get pushed back, and it's because of the choices that you're making, and that is affecting your self-confidence and your ability to stand in your power and your autonomy and say no, like, this is over, this is done. Because mentally and emotionally you might have moved on, but there's still this pattern here that's holding you back from actually moving forward into your new beginning and really knowing your worth, right? This is really about knowing your worth. And when you identify what's worth your time and what's not worth your time, it strengthens your understanding of your worth. So this is really about a boundary and setting some very clear, firm boundaries with someone, something, or with yourself. I am no longer going to allow myself to bring myself to this position where I'm at, going back and forth. Once I make, once I do a brain dump, once I get it all out and I evaluate whether this information I'm thinking is true or not, and how that's affecting me staying in my head, and not allowing me to move forward, but being stuck in anxiety or stress or sleeplessness or whatever it might be for you. Um, Once I evaluate that, I can decide if it's worth it or not. And if it's not worth my time, I'm not going to keep reeling in my brain about it, right? You have to set boundaries with yourself sometimes too, so that you stop going into those same patterns because you might have done a lot of the work already to heal this pattern, but there's still some work. And this ties in what I feel with something grander, something bigger that you've already done all of the work on. But this is the last part of that that really just, it's time to move on and step into your new beginning. Focus, have this energy that you've been putting into this, your time, your finances, your energy, your mental faculty, your emotional faculty, to free that up with this boundary so that you can focus on your new beginning and you deserve that new beginning, right? All right. So I'm going to close it off with a message of encouragement and hope. Spirit, can we get a message of encouragement and hope for the collective? Thank you. Yeah. So this card says, accept where you are at this moment in time. Only then can you begin to move forward. Be clear about your intentions, right? Setting the boundaries. This makes it easier for Oh, yeah, this makes it easier for us and the universe to help you. Doors will open unexpectedly. Be ready. All right. So this might be hard, whatever it is that you're going through. I have goosebumps just kind of laying underneath, not really coming full out. Okay, yeah, they're about to come out. Sorry. Thank you for the confirmation, Spirit. Um, this might be really hard because it was such an unjust situation. Whatever it is for you, whatever this situation or energy that you are dealing with or person, whatever happened to cause this to continue on for as long as it has, it feels so unjust. That's what I'm feeling. Like it feels so unjust and unfair. Unfair, that's the word. Unfair. That you should be the one to have to surrender it. But here's the kicker. You were put in this situation for exactly that reason. Because you came here to take the higher ground, which not only supports your development and your soul growth and elevates you, which is the wisdom, right? But it teaches whoever else is engaged in this with you that um, they they will see something developing within themselves by you doing this. So it's actually providing a lesson to the person who's engaged with you in this battle. And this could be anybody at any time, again, because this is a pattern, right? So we're identifying the pattern. But whoever it is that engages these battles to begin with is all about control. which is why they tend to go on as long as they do. But by you taking the higher ground and surrendering it and letting go, they're learning something from that, regardless if they change in this lifetime or not. Their soul is learning from you being the example. And they might even hate you for it. I mean, there are some people out there, and you might know them, but they might even envy you or, put you on a pedestal, but at the same time as hating you, right? They will not like it because now they no longer have that control dynamic. Now they're no longer getting access to your energy. Now there's nothing left to hold on to because this is the last bit. And they might hate that. But you're teaching them something through those experiences, through their emotions that they're struggling with, or the lack of energy that they're getting from the situation any longer. Whatever rewards they were getting from it, you pulling your time and your energy back and asserting a strong boundary that you're going to love yourself no matter what and no longer take part in these games allows you to teach them. And so accepting no matter what is tied up in this, and I can relate. I can relate. I've been through my own battles. So I can relate. It's hard to let that go. And no matter what is tied up in it, it's being asked of you so that you can be the lesson for this person. It's not just a lesson for you. Whoever is in your life who has this energy, no matter how many people, you are here to not only heal yourself, but to bring lessons and karma to other people as well, so that they can experience their own healings, that they can reflect, that they can learn something. And so we need to, it's so important to accept where you are currently. And it's not even just accepting defeat, it's not about that. Because where you see defeat, the universe sees opportunity, right? The door will be open. The universe sees an opportunity to reward you for all of the work that you've done, as well as all that you've put into whatever dynamic or relationship or situation this is, in order to teach them. And that you had the wisdom to set these boundaries and let go of everything that causes you friction in your life. This allows these opportunities to come through, for you to step through the threshold and to be rewarded by the universe, right? Windfall. And that is an awesome thing. All right, we're going to get one more card here for you, and then we will close it off with a, what is it called now? I'm having a brain fart. Hold on. Affirmation. That was the word I was looking for. I had to look in a box. Um, an affirmation card. Oh, that's too many, Spirit. All right, just one more card. Message of encouragement and hope for pile one, please. There it is. Thank you. Ah, yeah. So this card says your life is about to move or about to start moving quickly in some areas. Events that seem to have been on hold suddenly propel forward. Move with the flow and be mindful of what needs your attention most. Make decisions rationally but sensibly. Okay, so again, this taps into the same things that we were just talking about. because you're holding on to this energy and you're not letting it go, it's actually causing you stagnation. It's slowing you down. It's preventing you from moving forward. It's preventing you from accessing your new beginnings. And so detaching, not just emotionally, but energetically, mentally, physically from whoever this is or whatever this is and getting as far away from it as possible. Even if it's not like, even if you're not moving to a different city or something like that, but detachment is what's being asked here. And once you detach from this energy, this pattern, and you allow yourself to heal it by setting these really strong boundaries and holding them, then things are going to move faster. Things are going to speed up because as you move through the threshold, what happens is that um, all of the new opportunities are aligned behind that new beginning, behind that threshold, and they're just waiting to come through. And so, as soon as you approach the threshold, and you step onto the threshold, all the opportunities that have been waiting for you start to come in and things start changing. Things start, and it might seem scary. You might not view all of the things as potentially positive. And keep in mind that, all of the manifestations and all the things that you've been working on to get to your new beginning come with good and bad. And so staying neutral throughout it all is going to be really important. Emotionally neutral, right? Don't attach your emotions to the experiences that are happening and just focus your attention on what you want to create, what you want to come forward for you. And things are going to be happening fast once you step over that threshold, right? So you do need to be mindful of, again, what needs your attention, what doesn't. And this goes back to the wisdom that you have finally learned about this pattern. It goes back to your assessment of, okay, is that really worth my time, energy, space, my life, my emotional realm? Like, is it worth investing into? Is it going to help me in the long run, or am I going to be drained, financially drained, overworked, exhausted, having to heal my body, having to heal my mind further, being dysregulated? Like, your job here is to find peace in the situation and really put your energy into, and again, into the things that are going to serve you because this is a level of discernment here that is needed. That's being asked of you is to discern whether something is worth your time because your time, your energy, your presence alone is worth so much. And this is part of the core healing that needs to be done is that you need to recognize this worth, right? And stepping into your feminine energy and finding that balance and the nurturing and this is self-nurturing too, right? Finding that and applying it to the situation and knowing what you're worth means that you know what is worth your time and not worth your time, what's worth your presence and your energy or your investment or not. And it is self loving to let go of these things, this energy, this person. It is self loving to no longer engage in these wars or battle of the wills. So that is what I have for you today. I'm going to close it off with a couple of affirmations for you. Spirit, can you please give pile one a few affirmations that will help them along this journey here? Please and thank you. Okay, I guess you get four. So the first one says, the moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. And again, that is self-loving to set those boundaries and decide that you're no longer going to participate in this action, in this energy. This is an act of self-love to do that and to hold those boundaries with yourself and with others, no matter what, to hold that boundary. It is an act of self-love, and you will be realigning yourself with love by doing so. The more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. So really, it does take some faith to do this because you might be in a position where you feel like you're going to lose something. That's kind of what, why you're still fighting for it. Maybe it's the higher ground. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's stability. Maybe it's love. I don't know what it is for each of you, but you're being asked to really hone in to faith that by doing this, something better is right around the corner, and you need to trust yourself and trust the universe because the universe already has all of these awesome things aligned for you. Just past the threshold. You just need to let it go and step through it. I I just got this image of somebody at the threshold of a doorway, and they let go of this burden, this energy, and I literally saw it float off of their back, their body, and it lightened them up so much that they were actually just floating through the threshold. So very beautiful. Through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. Yeah, so this goes back to some of these affirmations that I was talking about in healing yourself. You can ask for help. This also ties into this feminine energy, right? Bringing balance back into your life. By letting go of these things, you're allowing yourself to fall into this groove of natural balance or to at least find it, right? So prayers, meditation, affirmations, all of these things you're seeking to create balance, create peace in your own life, not just in the world. All right, and last but not least, uh, my fearless freedom lights up the world. Isn't that what it's all about? This this is going to set you free by holding this boundary and deciding what you're worth, knowing what you're worth, and deciding what deserves your time and energy. This this is all about freedom. And of course, you're going to light up the world with that energy once you've let go of this, right? It's going to free up so much space within you where you can actually feel that. And I love that it's yellow because that really resonates with that fearlessness, right? In your solar plexus. Your fear and anxiety comes from that area, from wounded aspects of yourself, right? So moving fearlessly through the world and with the decisions that you make and trusting in yourself, trusting that the decisions that you're making are for your highest and greatest good. You don't necessarily need to make decisions for other people, but understanding that when you make good decisions for yourself, it is of benefit to all. So taking care of you, loving yourself and stepping into your power and your fearlessness and making decisions that will benefit you is going to benefit everyone, not just the collective, not just your children, not just your family, not just your friends, but everyone, including maybe people who are wanting to cause these wars and battles with you. You're choosing you and putting yourself first, and that's most important. That benefits everyone. Okay, so pile one, if this resonated with you, please feel free to leave a message and let us all know. Join into the collective energy. When you do leave messages, it does help me to tap into your energy and hone in to your energy more specifically. So if you'd like to do that, you can. Otherwise, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe and join our beautiful community of light where we tap into every aspect of life, past, present, and future. All right. I love you all. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. All right, pile two. Welcome into your reading. I'm just going to clear the energy. You probably will not hear the bell because my camera cuts it out, thankfully for you. All right. Oh, I guess I need a little more room there. Okay, so welcome into your reading. Pile two, you have chosen either the pile two, or you have chosen this tangerine. I think I said orange in the last time I described it, but this tangerine, beautiful quartz crystal point from the Congo. Beautiful selection. Okay, let's get into your cards. So, what is negatively affecting you now in this life that stems from your past life? Okay, so we have health and Asia. Okay, just going to put these cards here. So I guess I'll show you the cards first and then we'll move on. All right, so Asia and health. I will be turning these cards around after I have kind of tapped into the energy. So right off the bat, obviously, we're talking about a past life that stems from Asia that has affected your health in past lives, as well as your health in this life. Now, this does not just have to be physical health, it can be mental health, emotional health, but I am getting a strong pull that this is physical health because of this symbol, obviously. This had to do with overall health, but your physical health does determine a lot of the other balances in your life to do with emotional, mental, spiritual, as well as financial. So I don't know if you've ever heard the term like if your emotions are in the toilet, so are your finances. The same can be said about your health. So your health could be affecting other areas of your life. And this is something to be considering right now at this time because this is coming through from a past life. I'm getting that there is some sort of holding back from attending to your own health, your own needs, viewing it as less important than other aspects of your journey at this time. And really, what's coming through right now is that you may be, and maybe you're not yet. This could be future reading as well. So, this could happen in the future. It could happen in the past, or could have happened in the past. It could be happening presently. But by neglecting your health, they're wanting to bring it to your attention because by not looking at your health and looking at yourself holistically, so not just emotionally regulating yourself, mentally, maybe your nervous system regulating it, getting your finances in control, or at least to where you can tolerate or manage, or you can save. But by really excluding your health from the picture, there may be health issues in development right now that you um, are not able to see that are going to come forward. There may be health issues currently that you're dealing with that you don't understand tied to not only this past life pattern, but tied to current circumstances or the life that you've lived up until this point. So, a lot of what we've experienced, if there are things that have been traumatic, will affect our health. If we are staying in situations or jobs or environments that are toxic to us, this is going to affect our health. If we are not addressing our health, then that's going to lead to chronic disease or chronic pain or chronic health issues, right? So this is this is coming up right now because this is a very important aspect of yourself that you're being asked to look at. And where it stems from is a past life in Asia. Now, dependent on what it is that you let me put it this way. If you were a feminine living in an Asian country back in the day, you would have likely experienced a lack of autonomy because Asian cultures in general have a different dichotomy in them with regards to women and men's roles. And so they still do to this day, to some degree. It is changing, but in some countries like Bali, for instance, it has not changed or progressed, and so women are often looked at as objects. And it's not just in Asian countries. We all know that. This is happening around the world in a lot of countries, but women are looked at as possessions, as objects, as material, right? They are not looked at as a human being. And there could be some patterns around that, or there could be some patterns around, I want to say, self-worth around that because I'm looking at this color yellow, right? That all has to do with worth. And so for some reason, I'm really getting drawn into feminine energy. Pardon me. Hmm, hmm. Um, if you're a male in this lifetime, you could have been a feminine in a last lifetime. And as I said in the first reading that I did, we all have a balance of male and female energy. We have both divine masculine and feminine in us, and we have spent multiple lifetimes living in both roles. So when I see this yellow and Asia, yellow really speaks to the solar plexus chakra, which is the seat of your power. It is the seat of your autonomy. It is the seat of your self-worth, your courage, your strength and conviction, your willpower, your ability to assert yourself, and, to balance all of those things. So when I see that yellow color in Asia, I really have a strong pull to a feminine past life where you were not able to do any of those things, where you were a secondary, I guess, a secondary person in a culture where you were not valued and you were only seen for your potential to cook, clean, bear children, provide, and stay in a situation of control. Often in a lot of these cultures, women walked behind men, and not all of them, but like I said, still in Bali, there's a lot around that is still vastly unbalanced, right? And so you're looked at as an object, treated like a possession, and you don't hold any worth other than your ability to create, potential sons or people who can provide for the family in that respect. So there is something to do with that is affecting your health today because it is a past life pattern or um yeah, pattern that's coming through right now. And I'm getting a lot around funny that these both have these yellow tones in them, right? I'm getting a lot around self-worth being passed down into this lifetime where you may have experienced, and this, you may want to read the first reading. This may tie in, you may resonate with all three. I did forget to mention that you can look at as many as you want, but there was a lot around self-worth there too. And the idea of codependency coming up because often when you're treated in a manner where you are controlled, you're not allowed to speak, you're not seen, you're not to be seen or heard, you don't have your own power or control over your own life or your own decisions, making decisions for yourself. Sorry, my throat is really acting up in this reading. I'm just going to clear the energy one more time. Channeling. So obviously we hit the nail on the, or yeah, hit the nail with the hammer right on the head because my throat, yeah, my throat keeps closing off every time I try and talk about that. So there's something about control, dominance, a dynamic where your power was in the past likely not even necessarily given away, but it was expected in that culture. And in this lifetime, that's carried forward as you unconsciously repeating these same patterns, being born into a family where that may have wounded you again, where you may have lost your autonomy or your voice or your ability to assert yourself or to have any say over your own life. That could even come down to just basic things like, I want to do this as a business, but all of the people in my family were doctors and they all expect me to become a doctor, and that could negatively impact your health. And you might not be able to speak up for yourself because of this past life. The energy has carried through because it was a pattern that very likely in those times was not even like a thought to step out of line. That's the way it is. That's the way it was. And in some countries, that's still how it is, right? So you might be carrying forward into this life where you would have been born into a family receiving the same wounds and continued to attract people into your life where you would receive that same wound over and over and over again. But all of that from past to present is creating some effect on your health and negating your own attitude towards your health is going to likely cause you some sort of severe impairment physically. And this is really important to pay attention to right now. What is it that is preventing you from wanting to take care of yourself properly or loving yourself in that way? And that's where it comes back to codependency. In codependency, when you are raised in an environment and then you maybe go into relationship with other where you have given, well, maybe as a child you didn't have a choice, but you continue to give your power away, your own autonomy, your own ability to choose what's right for yourself. Um, this then does affect your health negatively. I kind of lost my train of thought there. This does affect your health negatively and it does impair your ability to want to, there it is, to want to actually take care of yourself. So you may have been raised in a disempowerment um, kind of stage and attitude and way of being. You were disempowered and you didn't feel as though you had any options or choices as a child. And so that is a part of codependency, not being able to assert yourself and choose for yourself and never being given the opportunity. You may have had a codependent parent who taught you the ropes of codependency and never gave you any opportunities to learn, make mistakes, and grow on your own. You were just expected to fit into one small box and never step out of that. And so that really makes sense with this Asia card is that there is likely some sort of codependency that you might want to be looking into as a means to healing why it is that you are not tending to your health why you're putting more priority on other people's needs or other things over your own health. Because what's really important here is that your health, the health and the state of your body, is what's going to carry you forward. So, if you've made a whole lot of changes and you've been on the spiritual path even for a while, or even a long time, and you've made a lot of progress, but you're not taking care of your physical health, then nothing else is going to move. It's going to actually, you'll get to a certain point and it'll become stagnant, and it may become completely irrelevant if you can't live the life that you envision for yourself after, you've done all of your, well, healing is cyclical. It comes in a spiral. So, but if once you've done the majority of that healing journey and you have this life that you're envisioning, you can't actually enjoy it because you'll always be impeded by your health. So, when we're talking about the spiritual journey, period, we're looking at it from a holistic approach. We're taking a holistic approach and we're looking at all facets of our life. And this might just be the last one that you need to integrate at this time. This may be that last lesson or hurdle that you need to overcome, and understanding where or why these patterns of neglecting yourself or self-sacrificing yourself are coming from are going to help you to heal and release the pattern, not only in this lifetime, but in previous lifetimes. And so it may be of benefit to you to do either a past life regression, or to do some meditating, or just to ask your spirit team, your council, your spirit guides to help you figure out, how the two tied together and what it was that was keeping you bound to these health issues that you've carried into this life. Another thing that you can try is journaling, just doing automatic writing. No filtering, no nothing, just writing, you know, put down these things on your page and then write whatever comes out and see if something flows from that and what you get from that, right? Okay. So my next question is, what's blocking you from releasing the past? And the card that we've got is revision. Yeah, okay. So that makes sense based on everything that I was just saying. So we can't put all of our focus and attention on, money, or on our spiritual path, or on healing the traumas or the emotions or regulating, or can't just put all of our time and energy into that. You're being asked to revise your path and make revisions in regards to your health. Now, again, this could tie in for some of you to your, maybe it's your autonomic nervous system. Maybe it's just your nervous system in general, and you need to learn how to ground yourself and regulate or deal with triggers as they come up, so that you're not in a state of fight or flight all the time, because that wreaks havoc on your health as well. And if you've been in a situation of any kind of control or disempowerment, and you've been giving your power away in any relationship or to any person, then that's also tying into this aspect of your nervous system, right? Needing to learn how to regulate your nervous system. So you're asking to look at your life holistically, look at your life as a whole, and where are you putting more attention into one area of your life or onto other people or other things that don't matter as much as you do. You're being asked to revise where you're putting your time and energy, and to pull it back from those things. Maybe you have to set some boundaries with other people and let them know, like, hey, My health really matters to me and I need to take care of it. And so I'm going to put time and energy into me. If you're currently dealing with a toxic situation with a toxic person, maybe it's just a matter of not saying anything and doing it behind the scenes anyhow. Uh, Putting you first. This yellow, that is about taking back control of your life and putting yourself first, choosing you first. And that's why I'm seeing some parallels between the first reading and this reading. So if it's of interest to you, you can go and look at that one. But there was a lot around the lower chakras and especially around the solar plexus chakra and taking back control of your own life by making decisions that are worth investing in. And you need to see that. If you're disempowered, it's very hard to see that you're worth your investment. If you're dealing with codependency, it's very hard to see your worth and your value. And you will do things for others because that's what kept you safe in the past. But you'll put yourself last. You'll self-sacrifice yourself and put yourself last, your needs last, your health last. But without your health, your whole future disappears. And so it's time to look at your life as a whole and evaluate where you're giving your time away, where you're giving your power away, where you're not setting boundaries, where you're not stepping away from situations that are causing you health issues mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. It's all tied together. And if one is out of balance, everything else is out of balance. And so it's time to really focus on this one aspect of yourself and ask yourself, like, what is out of balance? Where am I giving my time? Where am I neglecting myself to give to something else or to someone else? And why don't I deserve that time and attention? That's the real question. Why don't I deserve my love? Why don't I deserve perfect health? And reprioritize your time, your energy, what you invest into, what you don't. A lot of it is what you don't, right? What you no longer choose to invest your time and energy into. And then redirecting that into all of the ways in which you could better improve your life, your health, which would then allow you to enjoy whatever it is that's coming up for you in the future. All right, so how can you bring balance to this past life pattern? We've got potential. And I don't know if you can see it. I'll try and get this. Do you see the little child inside? The inner child and more yellow. Yeah, so it's you who is struggling to see your own potential and worth. Lots of yellow in this reading. Your inner child is wounded, but you're the adult. You're now grown. But your inner child needs guidance, needs protection. And the way that you can step into that role and protect your inner child is by seeing that you and your health is worth protecting, setting boundaries with yourself and with others, and investing, seeing that you're worth investing your time and energy into you and your health and improving your life is what protects your inner child, is what makes them feel safe. And so when your inner child is dysregulated, when you're neglecting them, And I don't mean to say that to sound harsh. It's just a reality. We've all done it in different ways, in many ways. But when you are doing that, you're making them feel that wounded child inside of you becomes dysregulated. They feel unsafe. They feel unworthy. They don't feel loved. They don't feel protected. And this really, now that I'm seeing the inner child, it really does stem from this lifetime in Asia where, again, you were likely a feminine who experienced this role. And in this lifetime, whether you're male or female, you've likely attracted experiences that reiterate that same loss of power and control, those same dynamics, the same feeling of being unworthy, the same codependency, the same overgiving, the same people pleasing or perfectionistic tendencies. Your potential exists inside of you. There's nothing outside of you that is going to fix this situation. There is nothing outside of you that's going to give you what it is that you need. You need to step up, not only for yourself, but for your inner child and take control of your own life by taking action on these things and giving back to yourself. And that does come in the form of stepping into your power and learning that discernment to say, no, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. I'm not going to let this person treat me like a doormat. I'm not going to allow somebody to speak to me like that. I'm not going to invest my energy into um, drinking all the time, or I'm not going to invest my energy into watching 6 hours, binge watching 6 hours of, I don't know, Netflix or something, right? You you have to decide what is a better use of your time and energy, and understand that your potential is already existing within you. And when you hone into these things, when you really align them, then you actually formulate this beautiful energy of strength. It's an inner strength and courage that is the most self-loving thing that you can do for yourself. And you begin to see your own potential as you step into your power and your autonomy. And once you do that and you start putting yourself first, and when we're talking about health, it's on all levels. And every level of your health affects every level of your life. But you begin to see that you are always worthy of your time and attention. You are always worthy of perfect health. You are always worthy of abundance. You are always worthy of freedom. Freedom. That's coming through so strong here. Freedom. Your strength comes from protecting yourself and putting yourself first. And so, again, there's a heavy theme of codependency here. There's a heavy theme of control by others, there could be all kinds of abuses behind there, but there is a lot of imbalance of power, is what I'm seeing. And the only way to take back that power is to make revisions and to make changes in your life that are going to benefit you by putting yourself first. And the question you may want to ask yourself every day as a journal prompt is, how how does putting myself first look today? How does loving me or making decisions that are loving for me first and foremost look? And another one you could ask is, how, if I put myself first or I choose me first, by choosing me first, how will that affect my life in the future? How will that change my life? It's not selfish to put yourself first, but you may have blockages around believing that because of this life here and the culture. It may be worth your investment in studying some of the different Asian cultures to get an idea of what it was like for women or for particular sectors of Asian people in certain countries, right? Because again, and that could be another thing where there's a class system. So it may not just be male, female. It could be that it was based on a class system, depending on where it is that which country it happened in, right? So by looking at these things, you're going to release these limiting beliefs and blockages. And you may also need to do some affirming of whatever blockages come up for you when you find them. So test out negative beliefs, say something and see if you cringe. Like, say a positive belief about something to do with this. Say a positive affirmation. If you cringe or you have a twitch in your body or you have any kind of reaction, then you know that is actually something that needs to be released. It's a blockage. And that's the affirmation or one of the affirmations that you need to work on, and one of the focuses or area of focus that you need to attend to. All right. So, how can you bring balance to this past life pattern? Pardon me. So the card that we have is Be Love. That's very fitting. And it is the element of water. Hopefully you can see that really well. There's a little boy and a girl there. And the waterfall and the rainbow. Beautiful. And that's what this is really about. It's about choosing you first, right? The greatest act of love is to step away from anything and anyone that is causing you stress, harm, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, anything that is affecting any level of your health or your life or negatively impacting you. I mean, this could be also addictions. It could be what you eat. It could be the way that you think about yourself, the way that you view yourself in relation to others. It's all boiling down to your unwillingness at this point or previous to this message to love yourself, to put yourself first, and to really step into your value. Applying love and not being hard on yourself, being compassionate with yourself for having whatever it is, whatever patterns and behaviors that you have. Mm. Being compassionate with yourself despite that, because you didn't know any better as a child. And so you developed patterns, you developed behaviors, you picked up a lot of information from your external environments that really helped develop these patterns and ingrain them into you. And so applying love across the board and nurturing yourself and being extremely understanding and compassionate with yourself as you look at the patterns, as you look at where you're not loving yourself, as you look at why you may not want to love yourself, right? Because it's not just about the fact that most human beings on earth, we we go through things and we are raised in certain ways that a lot of us pick up tendencies to self-abuse. And that doesn't just mean that, we're ingesting things that aren't good for us. Um, it can mean the negative self-talk. It could mean the negative image, self-image that we have of ourselves that affects our self-worth. It could mean never taking those opportunities because um, we don't believe in ourselves, right? It could be all of the ways in which we allow people to treat us in a relationship. It could be the job that we work more in doing, we put more effort into, but never get a raise because we're never seen, valued, or appreciated. We need to value ourselves and add love across the board to all of these aspects of ourselves. And we need to feel valued because once we feel that our potential is being reached, or once we feel valued, once we feel validated, heard, seen, confident, that we are able to trust ourselves because, of course, this is a relationship between you and yourself, not just you and the divine, but first and foremost, it's between you and yourself. So, loving yourself and bringing and giving those things to yourself first is what allows this potential to unfold, right? It allows you to step into your potential. If you are ignoring one area, maybe you're taking care of your physical health. Maybe you've got your finances balanced, you practice your spirituality, you do your energy clearing, you do all the you cross all the T's and dot all the I's, but there's one thing missing, and it's maybe like negative beliefs about yourself or allowing yourself to spiral negatively mentally or judge others, right? Or maybe feel some guilt or shame about stepping into your autonomy, stepping into your power, asserting yourself. It it just takes one thing to crumble your whole foundation. So it's about balance. It's about really applying that love and understanding that we can self abuse in so many different ways. And often we don't see it as self abuse because it's conditioning, it's how we were raised, it's the environments that we're in, it's society today, it's the culture today, it's the movies, it's so many things to be self depreciating in all areas and self abusive and being love, practicing that, giving back to yourself in all capacities is an act of self-love. It is the most loving thing you can do to yourself is to start putting yourself first so that you can step into that potential, so that everything else that comes afterwards is beneficial, is joyful, is worth your investment and time. Okay, so if you follow your advice, what positive changes can you expect? Okay, well, we've got dietary change and volunteer. So heavy on the physical body. So that could be food that you're ingesting or not ingesting or both. That could be maybe you're restricting yourself, maybe you're overeating. But this could also be substances or things that you're putting into your body. And it could also, I'm just hearing a few things. It could also be things like dehydration or a lack of minerals or a lack of calcium or vitamins or certain aspects to food that you're missing, right? Or you're getting too much of. I'm going to have some water. This reading is definitely getting my throat chakra today. Okay. You'll have to bear with me too because I'm also healing my throat chakra by doing things like this. So there will be sometimes clogs of energy coming through trying to get out, or there will be somebody trying to suppress, right? And this could be the energy that I'm picking up on. So dietary and volunteer. I don't know if I showed you volunteer. Okay. Well, that kind of reiterates what I was just talking about with health, dietary change. However, being that these are in a position of um, what positive changes you can expect, what I'm really strongly picking up here is that if you are proactive about applying yourself to whatever health issues or potential health issues are in like lurking in the darkness, just waiting to come forward. If you're proactive in changing and applying that love to yourself and nurturing your body, maybe it's exercise that you need more of, or maybe there's some balance with sleep too. That's another aspect that just came through. But if you are proactive in doing these things, then you're going to save yourself from the potential of a very negative consequence physically. And again, emotions and turbulence, stress, being in chaos or chaotic environments, difficult situations or relationships, all of these things impact you physically and they manifest as health issues too. So it's all something to keep in mind. Our own toxic patterns as human beings, as well as the people who we have in our environment, and how we are loving ourselves or how we may be self-abusing. So what I'm really strongly getting from this is that, if you are to volunteer and be proactive about your health and really set some firm boundaries with yourself and maybe with others or with your lifestyle, then the dietary changes that you create or the changes that you create in your environment are going to improve your health, are going to improve every aspect of your life, and they're going to balance everything out. So it's kind of like the scales, right? You're really being asked to balance out the scales, and that comes in part with the physical changes that need to happen, as well as the emotional, the boundaries, the expectations, treating yourself with the same respect that you want others to treat you in. And in doing so, when you volunteer to do that for yourself, others are going to see your potential. Others are going to see your worth. Others are going to see your shine. Others are going to see that you invest in yourself. You love yourself. You take care of your body. You take care of your mind. You take care of your money. You are a boss in all areas of your life. And that's what helps people to see your worth. That's what helps people to see uh, and determine all of the things that you want people to see in you, all of those good qualities you do have. But it comes from you first. It comes from you volunteering to take on the mission and deal with whatever comes so that you can avoid any potential really harmful or risky things that may come forward and affect your health negatively and chronically and potentially lifelong. Okay. So, all right. Let's see here. Spirit, do you have any further guidance you'd like to provide for the collective on this matter for file two, please? Yep. Oh. So we have take a step, let go of old beliefs and patterns that no longer serve you. Prepare to step out of your comfort zone in order to grow and expand. And it might be uncomfortable, especially if it's tied up to old wounds from past lives and anything affecting your solar plexus. If you're not familiar with the solar plexus and everything that it controls, you should look that up on Google. But it can be very uncomfortable on all levels to assert yourself and to say no and to say yes to you. It can be very uncomfortable if you've experienced these patterns for lifetimes, not just generations, but lifetimes. If it's familial, right, you'll probably likely see these patterns going throughout your whole family line as well. It can be very distressing, and that's why it's important to learn how to regulate your nervous system and to, do the shadow work and to do the things that are necessary for you to get through whatever triggers and blocks that you have, and while still being loving, compassionate, you know, understanding with yourself. If you make a mistake and you fall back off, say, the train, and you fall back into the old pattern, instead of beating yourself up, you just say, you know what? It's okay. I made a mistake. Or I I wouldn't even say I made a mistake. I fell off the wagon, fell back into an old pattern. And say it playfully. Say it lovingly to yourself. And just tell yourself, it's okay. I have a new opportunity right now to change, or tomorrow to change. Okay? Be very compassionate with yourself and loving with yourself, and you'll start to gain the trust of your inner child so that you will have more motivation and willpower to stay on track every time. And you might fall off, and you might, fall backwards into the same pattern several times before you truly are successful. So understand that. Don't beat yourself up over any patterns that you have difficulty with. Instead, if you're still struggling for a longer period, then it's time to really look deeper at all of these things that we talked about in this reading, to go a level deeper, maybe, to see where you may still have blockages, where you may still have resistance, where you may still have hangups emotionally. Okay? But the nice thing is that, if you do take these steps, prosperity is yours. So this card says, embrace your potential and welcome potential. Oh, synchronicities. Embrace your potential and welcome prosperity. You are making wise decisions and heading in the right direction. And again, that just reiterates what I was just talking about. It's about taking control of your life and putting yourself first. Those are wise decisions. Putting yourself first helps everybody. It doesn't just help you. If you're taking care of somebody, or you're going to a job, or you want to keep the roof over your head, you got to take care of yourself, because otherwise you have the potential to lose those things if you develop chronic health issue, right? Or you have an emotional breakdown, or you develop some mental health issue. So you do need to embrace this potential that you have within you by putting yourself first, making these beautiful decisions, and that will lead to your prosperity. It always leads to your prosperity. And it doesn't matter how many times you fail, you look at that as a learning opportunity. Okay, this is what I did that potentially did not work out for me or led me back into the same pattern. What can I do to improve this or change it up a little bit so that um, I can possibly be successful next time? You have to learn from your mistakes, right? We don't look at them and beat ourselves up nonstop, because that's just going to keep us stuck in that wounded state. And we won't be able to see our potential. We won't be able to reach our potential. Instead, we learn from each mistake and we get back up on our feet or our horse or our bike, and we try again with a new approach, with a new way of seeing it, with a new perspective, because we've just integrated what we learned about that. And eventually you'll be successful. Maybe you need help. Maybe you need resources from somebody. Maybe you need some sort of counseling or somebody to talk to, or maybe you need a support system or network, right? Reach out and branch out for those things that you do require. in order to be successful for whatever it is that you need support with your health. Okay. Um, okay, we will get a spirit message. Spirit, can you give the collective of pile two in pile two a message of encouragement and hope, please? Don't allow anyone to abuse your power. Take it away from you. Oh, don't allow anyone to abuse your power or take it away from you. Remember, you will be treated how you allow others to treat you. Show them that you value yourself far too much to settle for anything less than you deserve. Exactly. That sums up the whole reading. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. I love them. So, again, it's about power. It's about where you're giving your power away. And it doesn't just have to be to people. You could be giving your power away by not setting boundaries. You can be giving your power away by not taking care of your health or prioritizing your health first. You could be giving your power away to somebody else in an abusive type of relationship or dynamic. You could be giving your power away by overgiving or being codependent. You can be giving your power away by wasting your life on the internet all day long or watching, like I said, binge watching Netflix for 6 hours. You have this incredible life to live, but you have to pull back your time and energy and your power away from the things that are sucking it dry and not contributing to your life in a positive way. And you absolutely deserve so much more than what you're limiting yourself to have right now. You have so much potential within you, but you need to nurture it and you need to go after it. It's not just going to happen for you. You have to nurture that seed so that your child can grow up one day to be healthy and strong and integrated with you as one whole being. Right now, they're stuck. They're stuck as a seed. And they need proper care, proper attention, proper food, shelter, nurturing, protection. All of the things that you did not receive as a child is what your inner child is asking for now. And you deserve that. You have to see that. You have to value yourself enough to see that you are deserving of your time and attention more than giving your time and attention to anyone or anything else. You can't give to anybody else from that empty cup. Instead, what you give is a wounded child who is reactive, who is not balanced emotionally, who's dysregulated, who's in fear, who negatively impacts people with their words or their actions. She or he needs you to step up for them and protect them. And by doing that, protecting your health, protecting yourself. And that's going to release this pattern. All right, we'll get one more of these cards. Spirit, can you give us one more message of encouragement and hope? Please, thank you for pile two. Yeah. This says, make sure you don't start seeing yourself through the eyes of those who don't value you. You need to know your worth, even when others don't. You are not what other people think. And that's exactly it, right? Everything we've been talking about. Other people's opinions or the way that they perceive you are coming from their wounded state. They are projections of their wounded state. The only thing that matters is what you believe about yourself. And if what you believe about yourself is negative, then you have some healing to do to process those thoughts and emotions. because ultimately you are what you believe. And that is what informs the rest of your life. That is what informs your everyday experiences. How much money you get, how capable you are of achieving something, or how much joy you can experience in your life, how much time you have to yourself. All of these things, how much abundance you have in your life. All of these things tie into that. And so long as you take care of nurturing your inner child and detach or separate yourself from anybody else's negative beliefs or the way that they project onto you or the way that they see you or think you should show up in the world, it does not matter. And the more you nurture your inner child, the more you heal your body, your inner child, your mind, your emotions, every aspect of you, the less and less you'll value anybody else's opinions, the less and less energy and time you'll want to give to those people who just want to keep you stuck in a wounded state. And their wounded child is not going to like that you're changing. So let's be honest, because their wounded child cannot or feels disempowered too, and feels that they cannot reach the same level that you are. And so they're not going to like you changing because it means that you're leaving and it means that you are different and it means that you are, in their eyes, in a child's eyes, better than them. But that's not your job to center their world. It is not your job to take responsibility for them not taking responsibility for their lives and changing. It's not your job to fix or heal anybody but you and your inner child. And by doing that, you're helping the rest of the world heal too. By doing that, you're healing your family lineage and you're healing your past lives. So I know that sometimes it's really hard when you're going through healing those worthiness issues, that wound of not feeling worth anything as being an object. I know that that can be really hard sometimes not to see yourself through the lens of other people's woundedness, but you're being encouraged to really be soft and gentle with yourself as you learn to do that. And to find ways to get that negativity out of you, whether it's by art, channeling it, whether it is by singing, writing something, writing it into a song that's playful or being playful, or maybe journaling, doing something to get the thoughts out and then not judging your thoughts is going to be really important. Applying this love to whatever comes out, even if it's a song that, you have a lot of expressive language in. Let's put it that way. Don't judge it. Laugh at it. Allow it to be what it is. And this is another form of love, just not judging yourself. That helps you to get out of this perspective where you're starting to maybe start listening to what others are thinking or saying about you and their judgments of you or their projections. Because your worth in the end is what matters most. And the only way that you can cultivate that self-worth is to really nurture yourself and to find yourself worthy enough of your time and attention. And so, if the idea of if any of this is resonating on a deep level, I would encourage you to look into possibly codependency and some of the traits to see if that applies to you. It may not apply to all of you, but codependency runs pretty deep and has many different facets. And so it may be worth understanding a little bit about it to see if that is you and to be open-minded, because oftentimes when we are introduced to something new, we might go into a state of denial. So going in and just allowing it to be what it is, just taking in the information without judging it, without saying that's me or not me, and allowing time for that to sink in and see if any insights come forward where you actually relate to that to some degree or not, right? So, this is the reading that I have for you. I'm going to close it out by giving you a few affirmation cards. Spirit, can you give pile two a couple of affirmation cards that will help them along this spiritual journey and healing path? Please and thank you. There's one. Thank you. Can we get another one too, please, Spirit? Uh, maybe. Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Mm. Okay, so the first one says, oneness is my true nature. And this kind of just goes back to, what you do for yourself heals the rest of the world. It heals the collective. It heals your lineage. It breaks generational chains and curses. It heals past lives. And so the intricacy of understanding the unity between yourself in this life, in this timeline, in all other dimensions and timelines, in past, present, future lives, as well as your lineages on this planet or others in the universe, understanding that they're all so intricately connected. And what you do for yourself has a ripple effect, kind of like this card. It has a ripple effect. It starts inward and it ripples outward. And even, the people who do not enjoy your changes, their wounded inner child, even the people who you feel are not actually changing for the good because of your decisions to change from the good, they are. They are receiving so much wisdom, knowledge, and the opportunities to witness what it looks like, to witness somebody step into that. They're being given so many opportunities to make choices for themselves every single day, just like you are. And even if they don't choose it in this life and they, you know, wait a few lives, they will still have that resonance, that imprint on their soul for the rest of their life, which will help them make better decisions in the next life. So it's not just all about this time. It's not just all about you. It's not just all about, um, this past lifetime. It's affecting everything on a grander scale that most people don't consider. And so your oneness, your coming back to yourself and reintegrating your inner child and putting yourself first and making conscious decisions to love yourself, that changes everything and everyone. And happiness is my birthright. You bet. Just to add to the yellow, because that's that's the chakra you're really working with right now. You're really working a lot with your solar plexus, and willpower is going to be a part of that as well. I thought I would mention that because Spirit just came through and said, willpower! But understanding that your happiness is derived by what you give yourself, what you feed yourself, not just physically, but emotionally, the thoughts you feed yourself, the programs you watch, the people you hang out with. All of these things influence how you feel about yourself from day to day. So feed yourself whatever it is that you need in order to feel good in life, to feel nurtured, supported, and loved, to feel confident, to feel happy. Because once you're in balance with these things, happiness is everywhere. You're just happy to be alive. You're happy and grateful for everything that you have, even if you just have a cardboard box. Contentment comes from the alignment of our inner child with ourselves, as well as all aspects of ourself holistically. So, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you enjoyed this reading and it resonated with you, feel free to drop a comment. When you do drop comments during readings, it does help me to pick up on your specific energy and hone into it on next readings. So if you'd like to drop a comment, awesome. If not, that's totally okay too. If it did resonate with you, leave a thumbs up. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to our awesome tribe of beautiful people here. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. This is for those who selected the green calcite, or for those who resonated with Pile 3. Thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate your time. So, what is negatively affecting you in this current life that is stemming from your past life? Okay, so we have trust and faith and leaving or travel. So what I'm getting from this leaving or travel card is that what's coming through from past is this tendency to want to run, to flee, to leave when things are getting difficult or tough, wanting to run away possibly from a situation, from yourself, from problems that you might be having. Um, Running away from a relationship or running away from maybe you don't have enough strength. Maybe you feel depleted and you don't have enough strength, or you don't feel as though you have enough strength to go forward in what you're doing. And you're lacking trust and faith. And these are residuals from a past life or several past lives that are coming up for healing right now in your life. So clearly, the biggest message that's coming through for you right now, pile 3, is that you need to have trust and faith that you are in the right place at the right time and that you have what it takes to confront whatever it is that's coming up for you at this time. Now, that could be a multitude of things, but yeah, the strongest image that I'm getting is that um, because of certain circumstances or situations that you're in right now that have resembled maybe a lifelong pattern, well, definitely a lifelong pattern, but also resembled past life situations. You've had a tendency of avoidance. You've had a tendency to run when things get difficult. This could be in terms of love. I mean, if you have an avoidant attachment style, you might have the tendency to run from your feelings. You may have a tendency to run from the other person. You may have a tendency to then indulge in things that aren't necessarily going to benefit you. Or you may have a tendency just to completely shut down and essentially numb out. You could use substances for that. You could use TV. You could use a number of avoidance tactics and techniques to avoid that. But it's all because you have this lack of trust and faith, likely in yourself and your ability to confront whatever it is that you're dealing with at this time in your life, or person or situation or within yourself, right? And trust and faith, that's that can be difficult, depending on what you've been through in this lifetime and other lifetimes. that could have been tested and tried in a multitude of ways. And it really comes down to the decision of building that confidence within yourself and building a relationship, not only with yourself, but with the divine, with whomever you call your creator. This trust and faith is what enables you to take chances, to take new opportunities that come up, to take steps in the right direction for yourself, right? So it would be worthwhile for you to investigate what it is that has been causing this lack of trust and faith in the universe's divine plan. And I'm getting anxiety and stress around this leaving or travel. I'm getting a fair amount of anxiety, unplaced anxiety, not feeling emotionally regulated or grounded in the position that you're in currently. And so what I'm also getting is that this could stem from, for some of you, not all of you, from somebody else abandoning you. So you could have an avoidant personality or attachment style within relationships because of possibly a parent abandoning you, or both of them, or in past lives. Well, and generally it would show up in this life because it's happened in past lives. That's why this is coming up right now. You've had a lot of experiences with abandonment, and so you've shut yourself off to opportunities to love, to loving yourself, to your own healing, your own benefit, to the good things that you should be enjoying in life, because it's easier to close off and wall your heart than it is to actually um, open it up and potentially have it hurt and feel abandoned again. So what's blocking you from releasing the past? I'll just turn these around for you so that you can see them. Oh, and I forgot to show you them. Let's show them. Let's see if I can get them in the camera shot. There we go. I hope that's the right way up. I got a little dyslexia. I'm looking at my camera screen, so hopefully that's right. If it's not, oh, that looks right. All right. Okay. So, what's blocking you from releasing the past? We've got the card renewal. Get her to focus here. Maybe not. All right, well, now it's really blurry. Okay, there. Okay, so what I'm getting from this card is that in order to move forward and release these old patterns from previous lifetimes that have carried into this lifetime, there needs to be a sense of renewal of your trust and faith. That's the biggest thing that I'm getting here. Um, and not just trust and faith in the universe and the plan, because again, I picked up on a lot of anxiety. Oh, it looks like my candle burnt out. I'm picking up on a lot of anxiety, and that generally comes from what I'm hearing is the unknown. So not being able to trust what is coming for you or what's in the future, how the divine plan is set out for you, wanting to control and navigate your life with that control so you know every step that's going to happen, you know, every place you're going to go to, you know, every direction you're going in, and you're navigating life through all of these constraints and these rules rather than being in this sense of flow and trust in what is destined for you. You're trying to change essentially your own destiny because of this I'm really picking up a strong abandonment here and this avoidance of opening your heart and trusting others, right? But it really comes down to trusting yourself to know um, to know what's right for you. I mean, to we're getting that a lot in these readings today in all three of them. There's kind of some overlapping. So if you feel drawn to look at other readings, look at the other two readings, feel free. You're not just bound to one, but if you felt drawn to one or you feel like you want to look at all of them, that's totally up to you. That's okay. Trust in your own intuition. But this really is tapping into the fact that there's some aspect of you that is being asked to be looked at, and it is in terms of opening up your heart and releasing, surrendering that control. Like I said, there's a lot of control around feeling abandoned or the thought of getting close to somebody. Maybe it's worth investing time into what it looks like, what true intimacy looks like, what closeness looks like, what healthy communication looks like, what a partner, a healthy partnership looks like, what you want in a relationship. What would make you feel safe? What would make you feel seen and heard? Um, there is this renewal of faith that needs to come in, but is this faith not just in that divine plan for you and letting go of some of the control, but in yourself to be able to judge, not even judge, that's not the right word, to discern what's right for you and what's not. And so cultivating that level of trust, because when trust has been in childhood has been destroyed, then it becomes really hard to allow those walls to come down. It becomes really hard to relate to others in a appropriate way or loving way. And from what I'm getting from you, pile three, you tend to pull back or draw back and maybe put up stronger boundaries and bigger walls and not let people in. And so the renewal of trust comes from you cultivating your own sense of safety within yourself. And the only way to do that is to analyze or evaluate, ask yourself the questions like, what makes me feel safe, seen, and heard, supported, and appreciated within a relationship? What is it that I need to be giving myself first to be able to find that within a relationship? And am I getting that currently? Because that's another thing is that often people will hold on to unhealthy situations or relationships, and that could be platonic or romantic, because of this fear of abandonment. Okay. So often we stay too long in situations that are detrimental to us on all levels because of a fear of abandonment. And because we haven't cultivated a level of trust and faith in ourselves. And that generally stems from your childhood. So if, like I said, if you couldn't trust the caregivers that were taking care of you or raising you to do it in an adequate way or to feed you or to house you, maybe there was financial insecurity. Pardon me. Maybe there was poverty. Maybe there was a lot of chaos or addiction or abuse or neglect. Any of these things would disempower and disenfranchise you as a child. It would take away your ability to trust in your caregivers, let alone anybody else going forward. And so this is the tendency that you're going to want to look at is what is it and how can I give myself the things that I need in order to feel safe, first of all, on my own, and secondly, in relation to others, because, pardon me, you're not going to get what you need from somebody else if you're not first giving that to yourself. Nobody is responsible for caretaking you. Nobody is responsible for reparenting you or for being your parent or caregiver. And that's a very unhealthy expectation to have and to put on somebody. So the only way forward is to regain this sense of trust by really figuring out what you need. But it starts with giving that to yourself. And trust is cultivated through the things that you do to nurture these things where you have voids. So, whatever it is that you want from somebody else within a relationship, again, whether it's platonic or romantic, but really pay attention to the romantic, whatever you expect them to fill within you or to give you is what you need to be giving yourself. Those are the voids. That's your indication of what you're lacking, that you're expecting somebody else to give to you, but that's an unhealthy expectation. And so the renewal of your trust and faith comes from you cultivating this connection between yourself and yourself, your inner child and yourself, and giving your inner child, that wounded person from the past who did not have stability, who did not have appropriate caregivers, or who did not have the capacity to care for you in the way that you needed, to give that to yourself. And this is going to renew your sense of faith and trust. But we also have to look at the other side of that coin, which is the abandonment issues and the avoidant tendencies. So if you have any of these aspects highly aspected within you, and you tend to run or you have this urge to run, then it's really important to teach yourself how to feel safe in those situations and in your body in those situations, whether it's on your own or within any kind of relationship or environment. You have to learn about your attachment style, or it would be recommended at least. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. But if you hear this reading, it's, you pick this one because the universe, your guides, um, your higher self wants you to really evaluate this aspect of yourself, wants you to really explore it and see how your attachment style or your raising, how you were raised, contributed to your possible attachment style. And that could be likely it's an unhealthy, it could be a fearful attachment or disorganized attachment, or it could be a full on avoidant attachment. And so it's really important for you to start digging into that and learning as much as you can about how that causes you to show up in dynamics with people or even situations, because it doesn't just have to be with people. It could be maybe you have too much stress in your life. Maybe work is too stressful. And so then after work, you go home and you try and numb out. So, what are you doing and what are the triggers to why you are doing that? I'm just going to pause for some water. And then where did that come from? Where do you see that pattern in its earliest roots in your life, that your earliest memories? Where can you see that pattern being evolving from your childhood that is causing you to act in this way now? And how can you nurture yourself now to create a secure attachment with yourself? All right. So, what steps can you take to heal this pattern? So, we've got ready but waiting. Yeah, I think I'm showing all these cards upside down. Sorry, guys. Hmm. C'est la vie. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that it looks like you've done a lot of work thus far on yourself, and it's really about um, just taking this step, right? So you're ready for this next step. You might be feeling overwhelmed. You might be feeling like there's too many things all at once to deal with, too many things coming up for healing all at one time, or your personal life, work life, and this path are meeting you with a lot of perceived obstacles or challenges or time constraints, energy restraints. Um, but there is something in something in the taking action of it that's going to actually change or alter something within you that's going to propel you forward, give you what you need, so long as you are actually taking the steps into it. So you're waiting for the perfect time, from what I'm hearing. You're waiting for the perfect moment. And this could be about it could be about getting a new job or like applying for a new job. It could be about reaching out to somebody that you want to be in relation with. And again, that could be platonic or in an actual relationship. It could be many different things, but what I'm getting is that you're ready, but you're hesitating. You're waiting for that perfect moment, and the moment is now. The moment is like there's no perfect moment for anything. So if you keep hesitating and you keep waiting, even though you feel ready to do so, you're actually going to have that opportunity or that moment pass by you. And actually, this is starting to look a lot more like a relationship to me at this time because we've got the abandonment, right? And the trust and the faith and renewal, working on yourself and looking at these patterns and looking, yeah, that makes sense. Looking at what it is that you need in order to feel safe within a relationship, looking at how you show up in a relationship with another, and looking at how that ties into your past patterns, right? This is a past life experience, and you could have had it on multiple lives, or just in one past life or your last incarnation. But you've been carrying around this baggage for too long, far too long. And from what I'm gathering here, the universe is saying you're ready, but um, again, you're waiting for that perfect time, and it's going to pass by. Now, um, I'm getting the feeling like you might have been waiting on this for a very long time. So if it is a relationship, you might miss your opportunity with that person, is what I'm hearing. If this is a job position or a new career and you've been holding yourself back because you're afraid of rejection, oh, yes, rejection. You're going to miss that opportunity, and then you're going to be your trust and your faith in humanity is going to be shattered. That's the word, shattered. At least if you try and you're rejected, you can heal from that. But if you miss your opportunity for whatever this is in your life altogether, then you're going to regret it for the rest of your life, is what I'm hearing. So the time is now. If you've done a lot of work and you're scared of rejection and you're avoiding it because of your past childhood wounds or because of your attachment style, which is childhood wounds, let's be honest. Um, the only way you're going to cultivate a sense of trust and faith in yourself is by actually taking steps to move in that direction, by taking a chance, by taking a risk, even if it's not successful, at the very least, you'll at least know. And at the very least, you will have learned something from it if you choose to. If you choose to just feel rejected and you're not working on this aspect, which is coming up heavily, this aspect of yourself, then you'll never know. And that's going to be more crushing to your inner child and to this part of you who already feels abandoned and rejected and unloved than to actually step into your power and your authority and your self love and to go for it, right? Everything in life is a learning experience. It's an opportunity to learn something about another or about yourself. So, why wouldn't you want to at least try? And maybe there's, like, again, these aspects of yourself that you need to work on your self confidence and self worth. It seems to be the theme today, self worth and self confidence in all three readings. So, um, there is work to be done here. Yes, there's work to be done around these wounds and around knowing who you are before you jump into a commitment of any kind. And maybe this is what's being asked of you is to really assess all of what you want in life, who you are, and what you're down for and what you're not down for, what you need, what are your needs and your wants. Can you communicate those clearly? There's some aspect of, like, if you have all of that in check, then it's just about your trust in yourself and the divine plan. If you don't have all those in check, then it might be a good decision to work on those things and your self confidence and your belief in yourself and your self worth, right? In order to feel confident in stepping forward. But again, with this card, I'm getting that you've been waiting a long time, but you felt ready for a long time, and you're not taking any action, which means that this opportunity, because it's been, I'm feeling like a long time for some of you, maybe a year, maybe even 2 years, up to 2 years, it's going to pass by and it's going to go to somebody else. So it's at least worth, yes, getting this stuff in order and then building your self confidence, but going for it anyhow. Because it's going to teach you something, regardless if you're successful or you're not. It's going to teach you something about yourself. And the lesson generally is even if you're rejected, is that nobody else's opinion of you or their viewpoint of you can shake your foundation if it's strong. Nobody can change the way that you feel about yourself, only you can. And so if you want something, you have to take action. But it's not just going after what you want here, it's going after what's best for you too. And doing the work to heal these patterns because this pattern, if it's left unresolved, untreated, and these wounds are left to continue to fester, it's just going to show up in the same negative, self sabotaging behaviors that you have played out time and time again throughout your whole life at each job or within each relationship or with each friend group or with family. It's just going to continue to replay out. And so you need to do this work at the very least at the same time and not give up on this work at the same time that you are going after what you want because time feels like it's of the essence here. So I just thought I'd point that out. That may not apply to all of you all the time, but I do have a really strong feeling that for the majority of you in this reading, time is kind of the essence, and you've been sitting on this for a long time. All right. So how can you, or wait, where am I here? Yeah. How can you bring balance to this past life pattern? Mindfulness. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and this is an air element. Again, I did it upside down. Whatever. All right, mindfulness. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's really about being aware of your patterns as they come up, as they surface. And your body's going to tell you. And you know your patterns. And if you don't, you should get to know them. But you know when you feel like running away or numbing out or using some sort of substance or food to cover up an emotion, you know, technically, you know what your triggers are. And actually, what that's telling you, those triggers are telling you, hey, I don't feel safe in my own body right now, or I don't feel emotionally safe right now. It's all about your level of safety in any of the situations, with any person, in any place, in any environment. It's all about your level of safety. And if you don't feel safe, you're going to know because you're going to be drawn to some self-sabotaging pattern. And so, in that moment, being mindful when this pattern comes up, you can bring balance to this pattern and healing to this pattern by being aware, becoming aware of exactly in that moment. Hey, I'm not feeling safe right now. Oh, this is a trigger. Why is that? And how can I make myself feel safe in this moment? So for you, it's going to be about conditioning yourself to feel safe in your own body and in that situation. It could be like somebody's temper starts flaring, and that makes you feel unsafe because you grew up in a household where yelling and violence was normal. And so that made you feel unsafe. Well, these are the kinds of patterns you want to look at. And in the moment, you need to recognize, okay, I'm feeling triggered. I'm feeling dysregulated. And I don't feel safe in my body. And it's leading me to X, Y, or Z pattern. It's leading me to want to literally run away and hide in my room and isolate myself. It's leading me to want to overeat. It's leading me to want to drink myself into oblivion or whatever it is that you're using. It could be that you are playing video games or you're watching too much TV or you're distracting yourself with things that aren't actually adding value to your life. Any of those things are not really adding value to your life. It's keeping you from confronting the pain of feeling unsafe and abandonment. So, your job to bring balance is to bring balance to this pattern in order to release it and heal it. You need to become aware of your tendencies in all of the situations that you're presented with on a daily basis and do your research into possibly your attachment styles and how that is affecting how you show up or how you run away, really, how you run away. And then you need to condition yourself at that point. So becoming aware is half of it. Okay. Being able to step in on your own behalf is the other half. And that doesn't all happen all in the same time, just so you know. It might happen once or twice, but generally becoming aware of it when it's happening and like stopping yourself from overreacting is a huge battle in its own. But it's totally possible. You have to rewire your brain, linguistic programming, right? Using your biology to actually rewire your brain in that moment, um, changing your thoughts in that moment so that the old chemicals that used to be released in response to the negative emotions that came that were driven um, from your thought patterns that would be released from this fear and feeling of being abandoned or unsafe, then that can change, and that can change your physiology, your physical response to the situation as well. But becoming aware is the first step. And then maybe jotting it down. Actually, it's really important to jot these things down when you have a chance. Maybe you don't have a chance because you're at work or you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody, but as soon as you feel yourself wanting to pull back or leave or run or use something, this is your indication that, okay, I'm becoming aware of it. I'm writing it down so that I can see and reflect on this at the end of the week or at the end of the day, how many times I've done this, when I've done it, and what triggered it. And then once you become aware of it, then you start using your physiology. You can clap your hands and say change or say it in your mind. And then reintroduce positive, calming thoughts that make you feel safe. And if you can, envision something that makes you feel calm, peaceful, safe. And that's the second step. And then the third step is to change the way that you react in that moment. So part of it is catching yourself, like noticing and then catching yourself. And then the other part is changing the way that you perceive what's happening, because as a child, you perceived it as a threat. Whatever it is that's going on, that your brain is telling you is going on, at least, because it doesn't mean just because you have a thought that it's true, but it's reminding you of something in the past. And so, uh, the third step for full integration would be to change your perception of it being dangerous. Change your perception of um, your body's response to it. And so, yes, we have to change our physiology. We have to initiate better thoughts and things like that. But the third part would be to actually change the way we perceive it, because even if we do the physiology and we work on changing our thoughts, our body is still responding to a stress response, from a fight or flight response from childhood, from fear, right? And so the last part of that is to self-soothe in any capacity that you can in that moment, even if you need to excuse yourself and, um, do things to self-soothe, such as rubbing your arms, or giving yourself a hug, or just reiterating, affirming to yourself that whatever triggered this experience was from the past, but that's not what's going on now. My brain or my body is interpreting it as that. That's not what's going on now. And so you need to bring your whole body into a state of comfort and relaxation and understanding with a different perception that you're being triggered from something that happened in the past, but that doesn't apply to every situation you're in now. It may apply to some, guaranteed, but that's where discernment comes in. But your body is still going to react to the past. Even if there's one little thing that's familiar, it could even just be somebody's cologne or their perfume, right? It could set off a trigger. So you need to become aware, and this is what you're being asked to work on in order to heal this pattern, because otherwise you're always going to be sitting and waiting for this right moment, or you're going to be waiting for change to happen within yourself without taking the right steps to actually change it, to heal it. You may miss opportunities after opportunities. You may you may end up just suffering, right? And prolonging your suffering. And what's the point of that? When everybody has this beautiful opportunity to actually change their life and heal themselves, yes, it's hard. It's absolutely, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's hard. But when you get on this path, it gets easier and easier the more work you do on yourself and the more self-discovery you initiate for yourself. So, if you follow your advice from your guides, what positive changes can you expect? Ooh, ho, ho. So, we've got, I'm going to do it the right way. Finances. Nice. So, an increase in your finances. That's always a good thing. An end of an era. Okay. So, what this tells me is that by working on this pattern alone, it's not only going to heal the pattern in this life, but in previous lives as well. It's going to release you from several contracts that seem to be blocking your abundance and financial abundance, to be precise. So that's really interesting. Not only that, end of an era signifies that you're closing out a very long chapter, and not just like in your life, but generationally. I'm getting you're closing out something that has extended over lifetimes, that has affected you over lifetimes, and it has blocked your abundance. It has blocked your abundance big time. So you've probably had to work really hard to get where you're at right now. You've probably had to put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to force things to happen, to make it happen. Um, and it's not supposed to be that hard. It's supposed to be easy. But when you're out of alignment, you have to force it. You have to use your brute will. And it's like trying to put a square peg into a round hole. It just does not work. And people will try and use brute force to get it in there, but it's just not going to work. You know? It'll just break before it actually works. So that's kind of like you. As human beings, we just break. We break down. If we're going too hard, we are putting too much effort, we are chasing, we are doing too much in one direction to get what we want. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be that you work on releasing yourself from these contracts and get in alignment. Get your whole being into alignment, your spiritual side, your physical body, your emotions, learning how to regulate them, your attachment styles, your trauma, getting that healed, getting it working on, all aspects of you, including your finances. When when you're in alignment, when your health is in alignment, all of these other things are in alignment, everything becomes easy. All the blocks, that's what these are. They're blocks. Blocks to your success, blocks to your abundance, blocks to your manifestations. All of these blocks begin to lift because you're doing the work to lift them. And I get this feeling like some of you are actually waiting for your finances to improve. Maybe you've been working on something a really long time and you're not receiving um, as much of the abundance or prosperity in an equal way. It's not reciprocity. You're not receiving reciprocity in an equal way. You're putting in more energy into something than what you're receiving. And it could be a relationship too. It could be just even with yourself. Because I'm picking up for some of you, this is a mental thing. You're blocking yourself with your mind and your anxious feelings and your stress and your lack of trust and faith, and your abandonment wounds. You're actually blocking yourself. So there's three different scenarios that I'm picking up on here, but this block is ready to be lifted, is what I'm getting. You just have to do the investigation work. And once you start doing it and you become aware and you start catching yourself, and then you start taking proactive steps to change the way that you feel in these situations, it's going to help remove these blockages to your abundance as well. And you won't have to work so hard. But for some of you, you might be investing into the wrong thing too. Well, that's what most of this is. You're investing into the wrong thing instead of the right things for you, and you're not getting a return on the work that you're putting in. So it's an end of an era in many, many, many ways for you. So long as you take these steps to work this pattern out, to be proactive about it, you're going to receive the renewal in that trust and faith in yourself, which allows you, when you cultivate that trust and faith in yourself, it allows you to have trust and faith in the universe as well. So it's time to close out this cycle. And by doing so, you're going to unlock new levels of abundance that should come fairly easy compared to what you've been doing. No offense. Hey, we've all been there. Me too. I'm not judging anybody. I'm a human being too. All right, Spirit. Do you have any further guidance you'd like to provide to the collective? Simplification. Totally. Yeah. So that's exactly what I was just talking about. You're putting in more effort than what you're getting back. And so it's time to simplify, to let go of like simplify your processes. That's one thing to look at. Simplify your life as much as you can. So let go of as many burdens as you possibly can to free up the time to take care of yourself in the way that you need to. Say no to the extra events, say no to the overtime, um, say no to any extra obligations or things that you can say no to. I mean, if you can rearrange your schedule to free up extra time, maybe you need to change the way that you operate in your home, to simplify things, or maybe you need to look at your schedule, um, and the way that you run your life, right? There's a lot of things here that are talking about simplifying your routines, simplifying um, your goals, simplifying all the different aspects of your life and where you're devoting your time so that you can really focus, like it says, focus on what truly matters, which right now it's this pattern. This is what really matters to you. And maybe you weren't aware of that, but you've been struggling with your finances, or you've been wanting to take a leap of faith, but you didn't really understand what was blocking you. So it's time to simplify, get all of the thoughts out of your head, as this says, declutter your mind and surroundings for greater clarity and effectiveness. So get all those thoughts out onto a piece of paper and assess if those thoughts are even true or not, where they came from. Are they even your thoughts, or are they your parents' thoughts, or are they your ex's thoughts, or are they a coworker's thoughts? Whose thoughts are these? And are they true? They're only true if you allow them to be true, if you take them on. Generally, they're other people's projections, right? So simplify your routine, simplify your life, start working on these things. And for those who resonated with sitting on it for so long that you may actually have the opportunity to pass you by, I want you to build up your confidence and your courage and take a leap of faith. That's what I'm getting here. But you still need to be working on these things to strengthen that confidence, to know who you are within whatever opportunity this is. Okay? Because otherwise it's just going to backfire on you, and I don't want that for you. I want you to be successful. All right. Spirit, can you give us a spirit message? Thank you. The collective. Okay, so it says take some time to rest and rejuvenate. You need to pace yourself with the changes that are coming your way. They are all positive. Bigger and better things are coming for you. Just relax and trust. Yeah, trust. I had the same synchronicity in the last reading, different thing, but yeah, so there's a lot about just trusting your path, trusting yourself, trusting that you're capable of doing this, trusting that um, whatever is going to come in the future is going to be of a benefit to you. And that's a big thing to overcome when you have a fearful or avoidant attachment style, is that it's very hard to just relax and into that trust. And to really understand that even if it's perceived as a bad thing or a good thing in our lives, that it's really there for our benefit. It's really there to teach us exactly what lesson we need to learn to evolve and grow as a human being. And learning a certain amount of detachment from emotions. I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel your emotions. No. But what I am saying is that your emotions should not be in control of you. Neither should your thoughts. You have your own autonomy. And so it's really important for you to learn how to take back your power by understanding that you're in control of your thoughts. You're in control of changing your thoughts, your behaviors, and your patterns. Nobody else but you. And when you do that, when you allow yourself to take charge and understand that just because you have those thoughts doesn't mean that they're actually real or true, you start to create these shifts where you can just detach yourself from getting swept away by the emotions, getting swept away by the negative current in your mind. That's what I mean by detachment. I don't mean detach from your emotions, because that's exactly what numbing out is, or running away from all of these things, right? I'm talking about not allowing your thoughts and your emotions to control how you perceive the world around you. That's your choice. And this is where this trust, this faith, being able to relax into it comes. And that takes time to cultivate. It's not just going to happen in one day. That's why I'm saying if there is an opportunity you have been waiting on, now is the time. You're going to miss opportunities if you keep waiting, but do not negate this aspect of yourself, right? Taking some time to slow down is really important for you, pile three. It's really important not to just slow down, but spend time with yourself without distractions, without numbing, without noise, quiet time. maybe in nature by yourself, sitting though with yourself, writing, contemplation, even meditation or mindfulness exercises. These are going to be renewal, uh, renewal exercises for you at this time. These are going to be the things that are going to bring you back into your body and allow you to release all the stuff in your mind. And maybe practicing brain dumps, getting all the stuff out of your mind when you are feeling anxious or you are scared, um, or you are trying to run away from something. Just write it all out on a piece of paper without judgment, without analyzing it, without even thinking about it. Just all the thoughts that are coming through your mind, all the fears that are coming through your mind, let it all come out and look at it either that day or another day and go, is that even real? Like, that's not even real. Why am I telling myself that? Okay, this is what's got to change. Okay, all right, this is how I can change. Oh, great. Now it's all clear, right? Second card is you are not moving too slowly. Drop the self-induced pressure. You are at the sweet spot between taking care of yourself and still making advancements on your goals. On this path, there is no such thing as being behind. Smile, breathe, carry on. That's absolutely true. Divine timing, right? You are exactly where you need to be. I think I started the reading with that, maybe. Maybe that was the last reading. I don't remember. You're exactly where you need to be at the right time. I mean, time is a construct. It's a human construct. It doesn't actually exist. So you're exactly where you need to be and where you were destined to be at this moment. And so whether that's still struggling or that's living the life of your dreams, doesn't matter where you are. If you're still struggling, then you have more integration to do. You have more lessons to learn. You have um, more to release, right? So that you can start taking more steps. It doesn't matter where you are on your path. If you think you're way behind, then you're just going to self-sabotage yourself because that is going to affect your confidence in yourself, your self-confidence, and your faith, not only in yourself but on the path. So it's cyclical here, I'm seeing. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy is what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Time to get off that hamster wheel. Oh, hold on one second. My phone is going off. 13 minutes. It's 6:27 p.m. Okay, so that was your reading for today. I'm going to close it off with a few affirmations for you. Spirit, what affirmations can the collective in pile 3 benefit from the most that will help them along this particular journey of theirs? Please and thank you. This one. Very fitting. All right, one more, please, Spirit. Ooh, okay. I'm going to take this one because while I was pre-shuffling the cards for your reading, it came out. So it really wants to come out, and it actually is the same one in pile 2. So the first affirmation that I have for you is, I am the dreamer of my dream. Is that the right way? I hope so. I am the dreamer of my dream. If not, I'm going to turn it around. Setting up my camera on the wall is messing with my dyslexia, so I apologize. Happiness is my birthright. Oh, I see. It's backwards. Hmm, interesting. I'm not sure why that is showing up like that, guys. I'll have it fixed for the next reading. Okay, so I am the dreamer of my dream. Happiness is my birthright. So you are the creator of your own life, of your own reality, of your own existence. But what is inhibiting you are all of the wounds and blocks that you are not paying attention to, which lead you back into these sabotaging behaviors, which hold you back from an existence that is joyful, that is happy, that is peaceful, that is easy, that you love. And so if you want to dream that new dream, but you're not putting anything into action to change it for yourself, then you're going to continue to live the same dream. You're going to continue to live in lack and limitation and fear and stress and anxiety and possibly anger or whatever else is coming up for you. You're going to keep living that dream because you're the one responsible for creating your dream in the way that you want it to be. And your energy is, in part, what is attracting the same experiences so you can learn from that experience. And so, if you don't want that experience anymore, if you've decided concretely that you're done with that experience, you're done feeling that way, you're done meeting the same people and having the same things happen and putting in so much time and effort into things that never work out or that you self sabotage, then it's time for you to start making the changes and with confidence because you have the ability to do that. You have the ability to change your life. But it starts with you working on you and loving you. And the vision is inspired from that. Well, we're pretty blurry here, so let me just see if I can. There we go. Camera to zoom. No. I have to go slow because it's quite a distance. Okay, and happiness is your birthright, right? I mean, you deserve to be happy. And so this really is tying into a few of these cards here where you're putting too much effort or thought into something and it's unnecessary. You're torturing yourself. That's what I'm getting. You're torturing yourself by doing this. And you do deserve to be happy, but it's not through short-lived self-gratification. It comes through your ability to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself, to love yourself, and bring yourself into alignment, to take care of yourself, where everything else just happens easily and effortlessly. And happiness comes into your life with ease. And the right people come into your life, and the right opportunities and the relationships you attract into your life work out because you're meeting people who are then on your level, who are able to perceive you because nobody can, or people can only perceive you as far as they've perceived themselves. So that if they haven't done any of the work to meet you on your level, they're not going to perceive you. and vice versa, right? You'll no longer resonate with people on those lower timelines once you've done this work. And instead, you will attract the people, the jobs, the opportunities, the places, the things, the experiences, the money into your life as you were meant to, because it's your birthright, your freedom, your happiness, your joy, your abundance. That's your birthright. That's everybody's birthright. So you deserve to have this just like anybody else. Okay, pile three. I was a little bit fired up energy, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. I hope you enjoyed your reading. I enjoyed providing it for you. If you did get something from it and you'd like to leave a comment, feel free. When you do leave comments during readings, at least, it does help me as the reader to hone into your energy specifically in the next reading. So feel free to drop a comment if you like. Otherwise, if you resonated with this reading in any way, shape, or form, or you gained something from it, then please feel free to leave a thumbs up or give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Helps the algorithm out. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to our beautiful family of light. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. I love you. Take care until then. Bye.